Welcome everyone. Steve, how are you, Steve? Nice to see everyone back. Makes me really happy. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that we're putting out there, right? And are getting some knowledge. That's the most important. You know, it's nice to make everything pretty, looks cool. But the most important thing is that you guys actually learn something throughout those materials that we're posting on or YouTube or Instagram and so on. So let's start, right? What I want to do today, it's a bit different. We're going to go a little bit off from online because what we usually do is we go through the trades that we've done, the analysis last week on last Tuesday, and then we go and do, you know, what went well, what didn't work out, and why it didn't work out the way we thought it would. So what we're going to do today, it's a little bit different. Not much difference, but we're going to spend more time on something that is going on, right? As a trader, as a market analyst, I would say, you know, analyzing the market every day, you need to be up to date on what's happening around the globe, right? Probably you guys know what I'm going to talk about. It is the Israel, the Gaza, and the group Hamas, right? What they're doing and how these can impact the market. I'm not here to tell who is wrong, who is right. Everyone had their beliefs. I'm gonna analyze it in a way, all right? Pay attention to what I'm gonna say now. I'm gonna analyze it in a way on how it can impact the market, all right? Not in a way to see who is wrong and who is right. Okay, right. So, does anyone know what's really happening there? Because I want to go from the scratch to, you know, what is really happening right now. So, if you know, just send a yes. If you don't know, don't send anything. Grab your coffee today, guys, because it's going to be a little bit different from what we usually do. Anyways, let me grab this one. So what's happening there? Basically, on the morning of Saturday, right, on the here 7, right? I think for Australia was 8th. I can't remember. Anyways, so 8:30, around 8:30, 8 o'clock, we had a attack, right? Hamas have attacked the Gaza. So if we have a look, let's stop here already. Okay, let me grab my Google here just a moment. Is anyone from Middle East here? Okay, so if we have a look at the map, right? Here. This one is better. Even on Google Earth, we can go Google Earth. It's going to be much nicer. So pretty much, if we think about it, you know, first of all, where are they attacking, right? What are they doing right now? And where is it? It's on Gaza, right? Gaza is very small. It's a very piece of land. That's why it's called a strip, because it's only a little, you know, actual strip. So if we measure it, so if we get the measuring tool from here to all the way, we got roughly 40 kilometers, right? So it's pretty small. imagine you live in a city that is only 40 kilometers wide, length, and roughly, take another one, and roughly around, because it goes into here, so roughly around 12 kilometers wide. So we're basically talking about a roughly, not 100% precise, around 380 to 400 kilometers of area of the country, right? Of the city here. All right, so let's take just this piece of land here, and let's try to imagine how many people live here, right? So if we zoom in, look, pay attention in these. Where's my pen? Just a moment. Okay, so we're talking about, oh, that's not what I want. Okay, so if we take about this piece of land, right, and compare to these other small, cities here around Gaza, we can see that the density, it's more towards Tami Yosef, right? Ofakim and Netivot. Pardon me if I've pronounced it wrong. I'm not that good. But we can see that these three cities here are the biggest populations, right, of Gaza. Okay, what I'm trying to show you guys is that if we take and zoom in, have a look on here, right? We still can see lots of properties, few soccer field, lots of properties, but there's a lot of camp, right, for farms and so on. If we go to Gaza, it's just crazy how it looks already, because all of these is properties. So all of these is dense. It's like people living in here, right? So if we zoom out, we can see how many properties are actually in only one space. Look at that. They don't even have 1 single centimeter left to each other, right? So if we go further down, we can see even more, a bit here as well. But pretty much this is Gaza, right? And here is the most dense area. So all of these people, houses living in. And I'm just trying to make you guys understand how dense this area is, how many people are here, right? If we just do a quick search, population, I guess they are around 2 million. Let me grab it. That was 2017. Is now estimated around 778,000. So let's say 1 million, right? 1 million here. If we compare Gaza to Manhattan, right, on US, you can understand that, doing a quick maths, you guys can trust me, I've done it before we started. It's more populated than, by square meters, Gaza is more populated than Manhattan. And Manhattan is the most populated place in the globe, right? Why it's not considered Gaza, I don't know, good question, but we're not going to get into it. I'm not geographic person. Anyways, so as I was saying, it happened on Sunday or Saturday morning for us in Australia, around 8:30. 5,000 missiles the group Hamas sent to Gaza and across. Israel is one of the best countries in defense. So imagine how angry they can be right now, right? Because they've spent so much money, such technology, spends, they invest so much money, so much technology on that, that basically they couldn't keep up. Why is that? Because the Eurudom, right? So for those who don't know what's the Eurudom, let me put some images here. That would do here. So the Eurudom is pretty much rockets that try to interfere all the rockets. So basically, you know, when those 5,000, or they don't know, they are telling between 2.5 thousand to 5,000. So let's say 5,000. 5,000 missiles, rockets were sent to Gaza. These guys try to intercept. Why is that? Because the way they worked is the enemy rockets is fired, then the radar system detects the rocket and tracks it, right? And then control system estimates in the impact point, and then they launch fires missiles to intercept. But there is a problem here. What's the problem? The problem is if we dig even deeper, right, on that, we can see that they can't have much. How can I explain it? They can't intercept 5,000. They can't intercept, you know, too many. That, let's say that it's only 4,000. So there are 1,000 that they will get, you know, heated on the ground. So they were pretty smart on that way, analyzing as, you know, a war perspective. I'm calling it a war because Israel called it a war. So I feel like I can call it a war as well. I'm not trying to be in one side or another side. I'm expressing it clearly for us to understand what is happening, and then we're going to dig into it. All right. So basically the Iron Dome couldn't keep it up with the power that the group has sent. So then, you know, we had a few impacts. So if we look at the impacts, let me see if I can grab this image. Oh, there you are. Okay, so pretty much all of the impact was around this area, right? We did have Gaza, of course, but the impact was all around West Bank as well. Jerusalem, I think it was 102. So pretty much they covered a really good point on the rockets. All right. So then, you know, the market was quite what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right? So first of all, let me grab a I want to do something. Let me see if I know what I can do. Just a moment. Let's go for Notepad. Notepad. There we go. And then we can just take this like that. And then we use this tool. Okay, that's nice. All right, so first of all, it was the start. So it started, right? So it started on Saturday, Sunday, 8:30. And then after that, the market was on, you know, Saturday and Sunday. So it was closed. So market closed. With the market close, with the market close, what can we really expect when the market opens? Well, we can't. We can't expect anything, because the only thing we can expect is that investors will put the money onto safe haven assets. What are those safe haven assets? Well, safe haven, let's call it SH, are the US dollar, the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, the Swiss franc, and of course, gold. right? So these are the safe haven currencies, the safe haven assets. In commodity-wise, we have gold. On currencies, we have the US dollar, and then we have the Japanese yen, and then we have the Swiss franc. Right. That was Sunday. I went to the office, right? Let me sip my coffee here. That was Sunday. I went to the office. Are you guys liking it? Is everything okay? Yes, that's correct. Risk off, Steve. So I went to the office on Sunday night and I started to dig in, right? What's happening? What's happening here? What's happening there? What would be the impact? And I find out, I'm new, I'm 21, so I wasn't alive on that time. I find out that this already happened 50 years ago, right? So it did happen 50 years ago. So I was like, okay, so what happened 50 years ago then when this whole thing happened? Well, it happened that the oil prices went up more than 200%. The US dollar strengthened like crazy. The market was so risk off, putting so much money on gold, US dollar, oil, that they rose combined at more than 300% in a matter of weeks. I'm not saying years, I'm saying weeks, a couple weeks. Okay. So then I was like, okay, well, of course, the oil would be the mainly priority because all the countries around there may be in danger as well. All the countries that are producing petroleum, producing oil, they are around the Israel, the Middle East, right? So investors were like, okay, what about if oil prices, what about if they cut the production? What about if they reduce the production? What about if they can't produce anymore because, you know, something catastrophic happened? Then the oil prices will rise, right? So let's have a look. Let me clear all of this. Let's have a look. Where is it? Here. Just a second now, just a moment. Let me find out because I want to have a look on, I don't know if it's open. No, it's not. Let me open it. Here, this one as well. And, okay, and the other one we already have. All right. So this is UK Brent. Okay. This is UK Brent. And that means that we're looking at oil, right? Pretty much petroleum. So pretty simple. If we look at this, that was Monday. That was, let me zoom in here. That was Monday, right? We closed Friday at the price of 83.81. So $83.81 per barrel. Okay. Then we open up Monday with a 2% increase on the oil prices. A 2% increase, that means a 2% gap as well, right? So this is already feeling it, the effect. Why did we not rise? Well, we did, well, if let's say, you know, counting all the momentum that generated since Friday, since Monday opening, let's say here on Friday close, all the way to the top, we've done more than 5.4% up move in one day, right? So why did the petroleum, why did the UK Brent, why did the oil done this movement? No one doesn't even, like, you know, it doesn't have a reason for why it happened like that. I would love to, you know, I always like to find reasons, but probably profit taking, because oil was doing pretty well, you know, since August, July, all the year, it was doing pretty well, June, okay? And then we had this massive drop. Well, it was good because when I went to fill it up my gas on my car, it was, I think a month ago, it was around 2:30, and then it went a Saturday or Sunday. It was $2, something around that. So it was pretty cheap. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. But anyways, so we can actually feel the impact on the trolley as well, on the oil as well, right? If we have a look on US dollar index, where is it? Should be somewhere here. Here. We did have a gap as well on the opening on Monday. Just one news came up across here on my phone as we are on here. It says from Reuters, it says Israel says it has secured the Gaza border and is planting mines where Hamas militants crossed during the weekend assault. So it seems like the things are getting okay over there now. Let's see how Hamas will react. Okay. Anyways, coming back here. So that's US dollar index. So we had this close on Friday at 106.15, and then we had this gap of 0.15%, and basically 16 points all the way to 106.31. So that's not much. Indeed, we had, if we count down all the way up, we had a roughly 0.5%, let's call it 0.5% up move. And then we are, of course, have to come back and close the gap, right? We've tried to close on that day. It didn't closed. So we closed yesterday. And then today, I'm going to do this later on, but we had this gap down here. But that's pretty much it, right? So that was the most affected currencies, assets. So it was the US dollar, because it did have the rise, and I guess we can continue to rise up. I don't think this is the end of the world. I think I still continue thinking that we can go to the 108 target. All right. So sorry. So if you guys think that this maybe the end, that's all right too. Anyways, so UK Brent, right, and the US dollar index, that was the most affected ones. So if we go and look to the pairs that have dollar, right, the US dollar, we can see that let's go here, let's go 15 minutes. We can see that we have this massive gap down on euro dollar on the opening. That's because people don't want euros anymore because it's too close from that area as well. So they are basically taking the money off from any other currencies, any other country, and putting the money into US dollars, right? And that's making the US dollar stronger and stronger every day. Again, do I think it will continue? Yes, I do believe it will continue, as I mentioned for you guys before. It's just a matter of time now for us to see what it will continue to happen. As we've just read it, we have Israel under control. So yeah, let's wait for the next hours, next week, and we see how it goes. Anyways, was all clear? Anyone have a question around that subject, or we can move on? Anybody? Let me see here. No. Okay, I think it's all good then. All right. So let's go. Let's start with, as usual, US dollar. So it took us 30 minutes to go through it, but should be fine. We can do this in half an hour. All right. Let me grab my notes here. Clear? That's good. All right. So the US dollar had a very strong start to the week. Last week, we had, if we zoom in here, See, yeah, we did have a start. Sorry, we did had a very strong start into the week. It was pretty much driven by some speculation of the Fed interest rate hikes in 2023 and 2024 as well. It was supported by some positive economic data as well. But the dollar momentum, it went off on Wednesday. Because we had the ADP, the private payroll data, causing the traders to rethink the positions, I would say, ahead of the upcoming US non-farmer payroll on Friday. So we had the ADP on Wednesday, and then it came lower than expected. So traders was like, okay, maybe we need to take our money off from the dollar now. And rethink our positions, because Friday we're going to have the NFP. One interesting point here that I find quite interesting, to be honest, is that it's a nice behavior actually. So most of the times when the ADP, I'm saying most of the times, I'm not saying all of the times, I'm saying most of the times. Most of the times when the ADP comes weaker or as expected, the NFP comes higher than expected, right? So if you want to do that, you can just grab your Excel sheet and do the data analysis. You're gonna see by yourself. Grab the data from FinLogix, go to economic calendar, and you can see it and compare. So I was quite resilient on NFP Friday. I thought it would come positive, but I didn't thought it would come that positive. 336,000 jobs additions in September. From a forecast that was half of that. And the August figure was also revised upward. From 187 to 227,000. First of all, there's two things here. Initially, it led, as we can see here, of a very, very strong movement. 0.67% of an up move on the US dollar. But soon enough, it didn't last for 1 hour. The market was already dropping like a banana. Right, it went up 0.67 and then it went down 0.81. So 0.20 something negative, right? So why is that? Because we did have a very good NFP number. We did have a very good, additions of jobs number. We can see that was like 337. So it was triple. Half of what it will, more than half what they were expecting. So, but the average hourly earnings, it came 0.1 less than expected. And I was like, okay, let me have a look more into depth of the NFP. And I was reading this statement, and it's most of the jobs created, I can't remember how much of them, but there were part-time jobs, not full-time jobs. So that means that, well, it's not that good, right? Because if it's part-time, I'm not saying that you working on part-time is bad. I'm saying for the economy, they are sort of manipulating. I feel like they're sort of manipulating that, okay? Because yes, it's a very big number, but when you're going to look at that, well, more than half is just casual. It's part-time job. I was like, interesting. Anyways, so my opinion for this week on the US dollar index is we need to watch closely the PPI and the CPI data. If it comes below the expectations, it could lead to dollar retracement, but it will investors will continue to buy it on cheaper prices, especially amid of this war. Again, I'm calling it a war because Israel called it a war. You can search it up on Google, you can search it up on YouTube. There's a video clearly saying that we are on war, okay? All right. So, in my opinion, euro dollar seems very nice for me, to go on our next target. That is the 104 target that I've mentioned on my video today, if you haven't watched. So I'm quite interesting to see euro dollar around this level. Even if the war escalates even more, that's going to be even more helpful for strengthening the US dollar, right? I do think that we're going to have a positive CPI, positive reading, and a positive PPI as well. So that's my beliefs. In my analysis I've came across these. All right, so euro dollar seems like a very nice to short, as well as Gbpusd. I just have to find it here, as well as Gbpusd for the 120. Okay, so we still have a target at 120. 120 and 118 as well. Okay, I've mentioned it last week. 118. Okay, so that would be pretty much on the US side. I will, I'm not gonna be looking at Usdjpy because both of them are safe haven. So I just don't want to mess around my portfolio. Now, moving on for Euro, we don't have much time. I'm just trying to do this quick. So see, that's pound. This is Euro. So during the last week, Euro didn't show significant and much consistent movements. To be honest, we did have this huge, as well as you can see when the NFP was off, we had this huge. I have actually a short position. Sorry, I have a short position just on here. So I've held it up, because the top is here. So if it breaks this top, then I'm not looking to buy anymore, to sell it anymore. But as we didn't, as well, we have the war now going, and the US dollar is a safe haven. So I feel quite confident on holding this position. It was most likely, the only movement that actually had on the euro dollar was the NFP, because it didn't have much on the euro side. But by the end of the week, the euro managed to get a record of net gain. That's possibly influenced by somewhat positive economic data and sentiment updates from Europe. It doesn't necessarily indicate to us a strong economic environment on Europe, but it suggests that negative conditions might have temporarily stabilized. Okay, I'm not saying that, wow, let's, everything is okay now on Europe. No, it's not. So for me, in my opinion, I continue to be a bearish on euro dollar, as well as Eurocad. Why Eurocad? I'm still holding that position. I didn't close the position. Still holding it. I'm a swing trader. And it didn't. I was expecting actually the market to come at this level here, because it was a nice resistance. Yeah, it came in. So I was like, oh, okay, if it breaks, then I close. If it doesn't, then it's fine. I just hold. So that's fine. We're just following our trading plan. Now, on Eurocad as well, I would like, to keep seeing Eurocad around 140. Already mentioned it multiple times. 140 would be very, very nice to see Eurocad, especially now as we have the oil prices rising. And what makes CAD stronger currency? The oil prices. If oil prices are going up, then the Canadian dollar is going up as well, right? Because Canada is a big exporter of oil, so the balance sheet will widen it, and then they will have to sell for whatever who they have to sell it for higher prices, and they have a lot of oil. So it's going to be very good for them, right? So Eurocad, it's a very nice correlation as well. And I do believe on the short positions until 140. Now, what else? Euro, that would be pretty much it. Euro dollar and Eurocad. Now, Gbp USD. Well, Gbp USD, despite the sign, we did have as well a gap on Monday opening, right? We had this gap. If we zoom in here, from here to there, we had, let's call it 300 points, right? 300 points, 0.20, negative 0.20 on a gap. Every time the market do a gap, they have to come and fill it out. You know, it's not because of order blocks. It's not because of that. It's because the market makers need to have pricing on that area. That's the reason. Okay. So every time you see a gap, it will be closed soon or later, right? It's not me saying that. It's the market. Just go, you know, every gap you see, you can see it's always gonna always be closed. It doesn't matter. This is a fact. So the pound, despite signs of declining business sentiment and lower inflation on UK, the British pound had a positive week, as we can see, right? Despite this huge momentum down, that was the NFP as well. Then afterwards already retracing. It may be because bearish investors are adjusting the positions and taking profits after this huge fall. So they may be like, okay, so I think we can take some profits now. But they still, you know, bearish, I would say. They're just taking some profits. So we may be able to see some retracements further. And then after that, I still believe that we can go further down. For this week, we had the UK GDP. I think we already had it. Let me double check here on my calendar. Just a second. Good morning. You don't trade NAS 100? No, I don't trade Nasdaq 100. But what's your question? Do you need some help there? Okay, we didn't have yet the UK GDP. We're gonna have that during the week. Yeah, what's your question? Just send it out and I see if I can help you out. Just remember, I'm not a index trader. But we're gonna have the UK GDP, and even positive data isn't likely to have a significant long-term impact on the pound, as I've mentioned already. Overall, the outlook for the pound remains bearish, in my opinion. Okay. And the focus will be capitalizing on short selling opportunities. So I guess we may have this retracement, but my strategy for pound dollar will have short entries on the short time frames. So waiting for pullbacks and then coming back, and waiting for pullbacks and coming back. So that's what I'm planning to do. Okay. So Gbp USD as well as Gbp CAD. Why is Gbp CAD again? Let me just, yeah. Why is the Gbp CAD again? Well, again, because pound is weaker, and my projections is that the oil prices rise to $91 per barrel. So I still believe that we can have further increases on the oil prices, and therefore I'm long, you know, on oil. Not theoretically long on oil, but I do believe that we can have a strengthening on the CAD because of oil. So Gbp CAD would be nice as well. Now, moving on to US Japanese yen. Right, okay. USDJPY. Let me put it in a 4-hour chart. I wish I hold these positions down here. That would be so good. I want to long it on 15,500. That's a good question, man. Unfortunately, I can't help you with that. I thought you have some general questions. I don't know. I don't know much about Nasdaq 100. I think UK GDP is on Thursday, and that will not have detrimental impact unless it really surprises. Yeah, I agree, Lawrence. I think we are on the same line on that. I guess we're not going to have a huge impact onto the market, but is a data, so we have to keep our eyes on it. So yeah. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Japanese yen. As we can see, pretty mess right now. Price action wise, we had mostly positive week for the Japanese yen. Right, we had, of course, these huge, and then after that we top up, we open it here, and then it was a gap. The market closed the gap, of course, as I've mentioned, and then it boom. Okay, so it was mostly positive. It's possibly influenced by better than expected large business sentiment data. But however, a significant event occurred when the USJPY reached the 150 level, as we can see. So if we put a line here on the 150, right, just as it reaches the 150, the market slumped down. Does anyone have a clue on why that happened like that? The answer is quite simple. Exactly, Borg intervention. That's correct. So we did have a Borg intervention. What that means? What's Borg intervention? What's Borg? Well, the Borg is the Bank of Japan, and every national bank, like RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, wouldn't like to see AUD USD, losing its strength. AUD just going down as historical levels. They can't let it happen like that. So what they do is, sorry guys. So what they do is they sell US dollars. So then the Japanese yen could increase the volatility. So they sell foreign currencies. So I don't know how much they sold, but probably billions, all right, close to trillions to have a move like that in 1 hour. Let's go 30 minutes. Let's see. Let's go 5 minutes. Yeah, look, it's too quick. We can't even try to think about it. That's a 5-minute chart. As soon as it hits, it just slammed down. And even if we go for the 1-minute chart, we can try to have a look. It's going to take us a bit of time to arrive there, but we can do that. There we go. Okay, so imagine, right? That's 1-minute candle, all of these. So that was 240 pips in 1 minute. 1 minute. In a minute, exactly. So it's pretty crazy if you think, oh yeah, that's a good opportunity to short. Well, only if you have inside information, because that would be pretty hard for you to get from inside of a Japanese bank. Anyways, coming back. So they had the intervention where the Borg sold US dollars to control the volatility on the market. Okay. It seems a point where it could trigger again, but I'm not too sure. So I'm not going to say it will, because it's, we never know. They conduct those operations without anyone knowing, just the desk. And pretty much what I'm expecting is more data from US. We're not going to have much data from Japan this week, so we can see what the USDJPY will do. But talking about JPY, let's have a look on AUDJPY or even Nzdjpy here pretty quick. We can see that every currency felt the impact, right? Every currency felt the impact because the JPY just strengthened like in a blink of eyes. So every currency felt it. In my opinion, JPY will act as a safe haven as well. So it can be, you know, it's not going to be stronger as the US dollar, but it can strengthen. I'm not saying that this will kill everyone. I'm just saying that this can slightly strengthen. But when you try to pair with other currencies, the other currency has to be like so weak, so you can, you know, short or long the JPY. So I'm not going to be taking JPY on my portfolio, but if aligned with your strategy, that's brilliant. All right. Moving on. Let's go for the Canada. Well, we've pretty much talked about CAD already. If we look at Usdcad, here, we can see that, you know, since the war started, it had a huge impact on the Canada. So pretty much it. And this rise here, if we look at Usdcad, this rise, oopsie, that's not what I want. This rise here was due to a decrease on the petroleum, on the oil prices. So that's how I say for you guys, it is very correlated. Okay, so if we think now that the petroleum, the oil is strengthening, then we could see this move happening, right? So I told you that that would be my target, 137 on the beginning of the week. That was heated, that was nice. Not much waiting right now. I wouldn't like to trade as well USDJPY. That's my opinion. If your trading strategies fit here, that would be very good. But I don't want to have, you know, two currencies exactly the same as USDJPY. So if we have JPY, right, or USDCAD, wow, I'm drawing so beautiful now. Doesn't even know how. Anyways, so we have USD here as safe haven, Japanese yen as safe haven, and then CAD highly influenced by the oil prices. Okay, so just be careful with that and bear this in mind. Next, CHF. Where is CHF JPY? Is it here? No, it's not. Okay. And USD-CHF as well. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. CHF, as I've mentioned in the start of this webinar, is a safe haven currency. Safe haven currencies, when the market is risk off, when everyone is scared, then they go and buy those currencies and make those stronger. Those currencies stronger. But anyway, the Swiss franc has shown a significant turnaround last week. It moved from a lower position to the top spot. So it shifted, you know, the shift may have been driven by better than expected Swiss retail trade and the manufacturing PMI figures, as well as the broader upward movement in the European currencies. So suggesting repositioning activities. So what I can see from now on is that we did have a CHF weakening, as I've mentioned for you guys, that we would be looking around this area. Indeed, we came in. And now we can slightly see the CHF gaining strength on the market again, right? So we just have to watch closely what's going to happen. It's worth noting that, like the British pound, the Swiss franc has faced challenges as well as since mid of August, as I've mentioned for you guys. Primarily because of the declines against commodity linked currencies, as well as the US dollar. It ranged from 2% to 4% on August. So basically, it suggests to me, that the traders might be securing profits as the recent market trend shows signs of losing momentum. But now, we are sort of back into momentum, okay? And as CHF is a safe haven currency, there may be nice opportunities to long CHF, okay? It's going to benefit a lot from these geopolitical tensions, again, as a safe haven currency. However, the US dollar remains preferred choice, okay, for safe haven investments, as always. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so CHF JPY and USD CHF. Just keep in mind what I've mentioned already. I'm going to mention again. Both currencies, both safe haven currencies together, for me, it doesn't make sense. If it does on your strategy, that's lovely. Okay, moving on to AUD now. Okay, someone mentioned, I think it was Aditya, have you mentioned about you're losing on AUD USD? What happened? Because what we need to understand. Feel free to text. Okay, I love when interactions happen. We're gonna jump on now on AUD analysis and then NZD analysis, and when we finish. So that was pretty much it for today. But what I want to understand now is what happened with your position, Aditya. I want to help you understand why we had a losing, why it wasn't a winning trade. Okay. So first of all, were you on a long position or a short position? If you feel comfortable to talk, right? I'm gonna do gold. Yeah, I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, definitely. I have to do gold. I forgot. Thanks, Bart. All right. So as Aditya is responding us, I'm gonna go for the AUD here. Right. So the Australian dollar encountered early week pressure. Possibly that was due because a decline in the Chinese optimist, and as indicated by Caixin Business Service survey data last week. Additionally, on last Monday, if I'm not wrong, Australia released the inflation and the job data that was below expectations, right? It prompted some traders to take profits from the previous Australian dollar rally, because we already had the RBA monetary policy statement. And indeed, as expected, the RBA kept its main rate policy at 4.1%, so unchanged. But the statement was much more dovish. I felt much more dovish than previously, okay, than anticipated as well. So they expressed concerns about economic growth and that the asset prices, leading to significant drop in the Australian dollar, which didn't recover throughout the week. So we did have these drops here, and it didn't recover it because we've closed the week here. So, we started here, we closed here. It's still it is an up move, but it didn't not recover the week. So looking ahead, I would say Chinese CPI data may influence the Australian dollar as well, the whole Australian economy. But its short-term performance may benefit from safe haven flows into gold, as already Bahatz is saying. So this is likely to be overshadowed by the AUD weakness. Strategy to short the AUD against the stronger currencies like the USD and the CAD would be nicely done if managing well the risk. So that would be pretty much it for the AUD. Now the NZD, keep shorting AUD. Now the NZD is that the New Zealand dollar last week, if we look at here, it concludes, we are still on this range. We haven't broke to any other side. Well, we did here, but we came back. We did here again, but we came back. So pretty tough. It ended last week on a decrease, okay, on the value, which was likely due to negative news and data from the New Zealand and as well China. On last Wednesday, after the RBNZ, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, they decided to maintain the OC, that's the official cash rate, OCR, if I'm not wrong, OCR, official cash rate, at 5.5%. As expected, the currency, of course, it faced additional selling pressure. But however, the central bank's stance was less hawkish than anticipated by the market. So that's pretty much citing recent data indicating a slowdown in economic demand growth, and as well the expectation of reduced spending growth. While the NZD has been strong in recent months, compared to other currencies, it remains uncertain whether last week data will alert this trend on the NZUSD. I don't think it will, because USD is pretty strong at the moment, and New Zealand dollar, it can have a bit of impact on because of gold. And yes, we have the New Zealand election soon as well, so it's going to be a pretty mess over there. In the long term, there's bearish outlook for the currency, in my opinion, but in the short term, it may receive support from the Chinese economic data, because we have the China Golden Week as well for the upcoming week. I would say neutral on New Zealand dollar, more bearish on the long term. Now, Aditya haven't responded, so that's fine, not a problem. If you want to have a private talk to me, Aditya, or any one of you guys, my email is luca.santos@acy.com. Let me type it in here so you can send me your message there and we can chat. We can maybe organize even some call. I would love to do that. All right, coming back. So gold did happen very, very similar. Okay, so we had this move on Monday of nearly 1%, 1% gap up, right? So my opinion is that gold will come and close this gap, as I've been saying already. Market have to close gaps, and then after that we can continue to see higher prices on the gold. All right, so that would be pretty much my analysis for gold. As gold it's going to act as a safe haven as well. Australia, maybe China and New Zealand may have some how can I say that, they may surf the wave as well with gold. All right, guys, so that's all from me from today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and sorry, I guess my message wasn't delivered to you. Okay, Aditya, if you would like to, we can have a chat in private, so you can just message me on my email, and I can send you. All right, guys, that's all from me from today. So trade safe, very busy week. Pay attention on PPI data, CPI data from US on Thursday. And yeah, peace for everyone. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next week. See you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.